Good morning, and we are in section 10 of Doctrine and Covenants. We read up to 15 yesterday, but I'm going to go back a little bit just so we have some context a little bit. So he's talking about the people who stole the manuscript, the Lord is telling them why they shouldn't translate. So I'm going to start in 14. Verily I say unto you, that I will not suffer that Satan shall accomplish his design in this thing. Meaning, we'll see what this thing is as well. For behold, he has put it in their hearts to get thee to tempt the Lord thy God in asking to translate it over again. Sorry about the coughing. I'm a little bit ill today. Behold, they say and think in their hearts, we will see if God has given him power to translate. If so, he will also give him power again. Isn't it interesting that they're saying, well, if God gives him power to translate, he'll give it again. Like, yeah, we can catch him out then. I don't get that. It seems really weird, but that's what they're saying. And if God give him power again, or if he translates it again, or in other words, if he bringeth forth the same words, behold, we have the same with us, and we have altered them. Therefore they will not agree, and we will say that he has lied in his words, and that he has no gift, and he has no power. Doesn't that seem a little bit backwards? I'm just going to keep reading this a bit, but therefore we will destroy him, and also the work, and we will do this that we may not be ashamed in the end, and that we may get glory of the world. Two things: that they will not be ashamed. These are people who most likely have been going around and saying, oh, he doesn't have gold plates, or whatever, spreading lies and trying to be an authority anyway. And then if they can expose Joseph Smith as a liar and a cheat, then they're like the heroes. At least that's what I see from this. Verily I say unto you, that Satan has a great hold upon their hearts, and he stirreth them up to iniquity against that which is good. I think that's an interesting way that they put it. Iniquity against that which is good. And their hearts are corrupt and full of wickedness. Notice everything's in gray, because this is their thoughts, or Satan's influence on them, and how they see it. And they love darkness rather than light, because their deeds are evil. Therefore they will not ask of me. Satan stirreth them up, that he may lead their souls to destruction. And thus he has laid a cunning plan, thinking to destroy the work of God. But I will require this at their hands, and it shall turn to their shame and condemnation in the day of judgment. Now, I'm going to go back to 21, because it reminds, they love darkness rather than light, because their deeds are evil. Therefore they will not ask of me. This is talking about the 116 pages of lost manuscript. But throughout history, there has been the same things happening, though. We had, they had I can't remember the names now, Mormonism Unveiled, I think is the name of the book or something, that claimed that Joseph Smith had taken, had basically plagiarized another book, and they had, the person that had written the other book had died. Sorry, I didn't pull up the names right now, and my brain is too foggy to put names in here. But then, and they said that he just took everything from that book and they put it in the Book of Mormon. And for years, this was the claim. And they didn't have the book, they didn't have the manuscript, but they had witnesses of the person's own family and other people saying, yeah, that's just like what was written in their book. So the Book of Mormon was plagiarized. And then it seems like it was about 100 years later, as the university where one of the people who was claiming this was cleaning out some old office furniture and desks and things. They found the manuscript of this book that was supposedly written before Joseph Smith's time. Well, it was written, I guess, before that. And guess what? It's actually available to read now at BYU and has nothing to do with the Book of Mormon. So it wasn't just this one time that these things happened. So that's a little bit of history, and we've had some big things like that. But just on the individual level, I can think of dozens of times when people have twisted the scriptures or tried to prove something and say that I'm wrong off of scriptures that they have no right to be saying about, because they often misquote them so that they can meet their own agenda. I'll give a couple of examples from my mission. And I've had many since as well, where people say something and it just is not what is there. As I was on my mission, street contacting, actually, a man came up to me and started talking to me and says, yeah, you're going to hell. And I said, excuse me, why you say that? And he says, oh, I read all about your church and what you believe, and you are going to hell, and I know everything about this. The Book of Mormon is not real. I read about it, and it's fake. And I said, okay. I stopped him there and basically said, okay, have you read the Book of Mormon from page to page? No, I read about it. Have you read the Doctrine and Covenants that has all of the laws and ordinances that have the laws and ordinances of our church in it? No, I haven't done that. Have you read the Pearl of Great Price? No, I haven't done that. Then you have not read things that we believe in. We believe in the Bible. We believe in the Book of Mormon. We believe in the Doctrine and Covenants and the Pearl of Great Price. That is where we go to for inspiration and understanding of what we should do And if you have not read those, you don't know anything about the church. I have read all of them, and I know that this church is true. And unless you read those, I don't have anything else to say to you until you are open to knowing the truth. Well, he left. I always hoped that somehow he went back and found out for himself rather than reading what people twist in their heads. Now, the second example was much, much more dark, you might say. My companion and I were walking along, and this guy stopped and says, "Oh, elders, do you need a ride home?" He was really friendly. We said, "No, we don't really. We're not too far away." He says, "Come on." And so we get in, and we start talking, and he's really jovial and says, "Yeah, I've met." He names some general authorities, and he says, "I've read the something for Parley P. Pratt wrote, and all this other stuff," and I'm going, "Wow, he's really, wow. Did we stumble into somebody that's ready to be baptized?" And then I started thinking, why is he not baptized? And then when we got close to our house, we had enough sense not to take him to our house because we're starting to suspect something was up, and we didn't want to. And we said, "Just pull over here, we'll be fine." Just before we got out, he says, "I've got one question to ask of you." And he then, what was the question? He says, "Am I part of the church of God, or am I the church of the devil?" Now, I wish I would have answered differently, because at that moment, and I hate to say it, I could hear the Spirit saying, "Say no." But remember, this is in a split second to answer. And my mind was thinking, well, if he's a good man, as it says in Nephi, there's two churches, the church of God and the church of the devil. And in that sense, people who are of good hearts and in a spiritual sense, anybody that is working to become closer to God, I would say, would be of the church of God. Though there's also, I'm sorry, I guess I'm getting more into theology, and I don't want to do that. Basically, my mind was thinking, well, if he's a good man, and he's doing the things he should be to be more like Christ, then he's the church of God. Well, so I said, well, yeah, I guess you're the church of God. And then what I could only describe as a darkness came over him. And he started to quote scriptures from the Book of Mormon about there's only two churches, and if you think that your church is right, then everybody else is of the devil, and taking it all out of context, again, twisting or wresting the scriptures, and twisting them so much. I don't know what I would have said if I would have said no. And I felt the Spirit leave me, so I couldn't do much because I didn't listen to the Spirit at that time. And this man was tempting me to follow that path, and he loved darkness, and his deeds were evil. He twisted the scriptures. He knew the Book of Mormon, but he twisted them for his own ends. And eventually we got out of there. My companion was a new companion as well. We walked home. We sat down. And I looked at my companion and says, "How do you feel right now?" And we talked about the twisting, horrible feeling that we had. No enlightenment, nothing from being with that person. And I said, just remember that feeling. And then we pulled out the Book of Mormon and read when Jesus came down to the Nephites. And, 3rd Nephi chapter 11. By the end of that chapter, the Spirit had flooded back. We both bore our testimonies, and we both felt the love of God in our hearts. And we talked about what happens when that man goes and talks to somebody else about the church and uses that same hate and darkness, and people go, "Oh, is that what that church is about?" And they feel that darkness around them. They're not going to listen. They're going to turn away, and they're going to hate the missionaries, and they're going to want to avoid us. And it was an interesting feeling, and it's all because of the same things. This is happening today in so many people's hearts. The devil stirreth up their hearts to anger against his work. And he saith unto them, deceive and lie, and wait to catch, that ye may destroy. Behold, this is no harm. And thus he flattereth them, and telleth them that it is no sin to lie, and that they may catch a man in a lie, that they may destroy him. And thus he flattereth them, and leadeth them along, until he draggeth their souls down to hell. And thus he causeth them to catch themselves in their own snare. And thus he goeth up and down, talking about the devil, to and fro in the earth, seeking to destroy the souls of men. Verily, verily, I say unto you, woe be unto him that lieth to deceive, because he supposeth another lieth to deceive, for such are not exempt from the justice of God. I find this really interesting, but it is very true that some people think that they can lie because they suppose somebody else does. Now behold, they have altered these words, because Satan saith unto them, he that deceived you, and thus he flattereth them, he hath deceived you, meaning Joseph Smith, and thus he flattereth them away to do iniquity, to get thee to tempt the Lord thy God. So it's come back around to tempting the Lord God. Behold, I say unto you, that you shall not translate again those words which have gone forth out of your hands. For behold, they shall not accomplish their evil designs in lying against those words. For behold, if you should bring forth the same words, they will say that you have lied, and that you have pretended to translate, but that you have contradicted yourself. And behold, they will publish this, and Satan will harden the hearts of the people to stir them up to anger against you, and they will not believe my words. Thus Satan thinketh to overpower your testimony, I'm sorry about the cough. In this generation, that the work may not come forth in this generation. But behold, now that is where we should finish our reading today, but I can't because I want to leave on a higher note. But behold, here is wisdom, because I show unto you wisdom, and give you commandments concerning these things, what you shall do. Show it not unto the world until you have accomplished the work of translation. So, the Lord knows what He's doing. He knows what He has done, and we find out that the wisdom of God is greater than the wisdom of the devil. And it's true, and it's been true since the beginning. They can't even fathom how much the Lord knows His work and how involved He is. Satan has no chance. And the only chance he has is if we let him ourselves. We listen to God, we're fine. If we listen to Satan, he will try to overpower us. And it's my testimony that God knows these things and has prepared a way for us. And I hope you have a wonderful day and look at the marvels that God has given you in your life. And that you can see the light of day through the darkness of those that try to do otherwise.